Hello, good morning, dear student. Now pharmacology classes start. So today topic is coagulant and anticoagulant drugs. Yesterday classes we will saw anticoagulants and platelets. Due to network issue, I cannot upload the yesterday classes on YouTube. That's why today I explain. Okay, anticoagulants and antiplatelet drugs both reduce the risk of blood clots. They are often called blood thinner, but actually they do not really in blood thinner blood. Next, the antiplatelet interfere with the binding of the platelet and process that actually start the formation of blood clot. Anticoagulants interfere with the protein in the blood that are involved in coagulation. These proteins is called factors. Okay, next one, definitions. Anticoagulants is an agent that is reduced to prevent the formation of blood clots. Anticoagulant is the drugs that prevent or slow down the process of blood clotting. They delay or reduce the process of blood clot formation. Anticoagulant. When blood is collected in clot after some time, the anticoagulant are the chemical agent which prevent the clotting of blood when mix the blood in proper proportion. Okay, what are the purposes and uses of anticoagulant? For a study of various constituents of blood components, study of coagulant, clotting of blood, and prevention of blood in a blood bank. Next is properties of anticoagulant. It must be soluble in blood. It must be kept in blood in fluid conditions. Okay, it must not be hemolytic of blood cells. Okay, you know hemolytic. It must not be changes the size of RBC. It must maximize destruction of leukocytes. Next one is it must minimize the aggregations of platelets. Okay. Next, medical use. The use of anticoagulants is a decision based upon the risk of benefit of anticoagulations. The biggest risk of anticoagulants therapy increase the risk of bleeding. Okay, in otherwise healthy people, the increased risk of bleeding is minimal, but those who have had recently surgery, cerebral aneurysms, and other conditions may have to great or other risk of bleeding. Generally, the benefit of anticoagulant is prevention of or reductions of the progression of thrombolytic diseases. Whenever any thrombolytic disease will be occur, that time it helpful. Okay, next is generally the benefit of anticoagulant and prevention or reduction of progression of a thrombolytic diseases. Some indications for anticoagulant therapy that are known to have benefit from their therapy includes first, arterial fibrillations. It's commonly formed in arterial appendage clot. Next one is coronary artery disease. And coronary artery disease, the time it also helpful. Whenever blockage will be there, the time it's improve it helpful for the destroy the clots. Deep vein thrombosis can lead to pulmonary embolisms, ischemia strokes, and hypercoagulable stage factors V leading can lead to deep vein thrombosis. Next, mechanical heart valve like myocardial infarctions, pulmonary embolisms, restenosis for stents. And next one is cardiopulmonary bypass or any other surgeries required for temporary aortic occlusions. Next one is heart failures. Okay. Next, use in vivo. That's anticoagulants. When perinatal anticoagulants indirectly thrombin and inhibitor heparin low molecular weight and heparin conjugates and denaphyriates. Okay, next directly thrombin inhibitors like lipudin, bivalirudin and orgetrorbin. These three drugs are direct thrombin inhibitors. Next, oral anticoagulants. So what are the oral coagulants we take orally? First one is coumarin diuretics. That's bishydrocoumarin, dicoprol and porphyrin salt, acinocomerol and nucumolone. Is erythrobiscumic that all are the coumarin derivatives. Okay, next one is ranitidine derivatives. Its first example is phenedione. Phenedione, it is helpful to anticoagulants. Its work as an anticoagulant. Next one is direct factor tannin inhibitors. That's called is rivaroxaban. That's whenever it's helpful to clotting state. Next, oral and direct thrombin inhibitors. Yeah, etoxalate and dabigatran. Both are the oral direct thrombin inhibitors. Next, anticoagulants used first in heparin. Heparin mostly we should use whenever we take any sample. That time also we use heparin. Which sample we take and we use at the time heparin? You have any idea? ABG. Whenever we take ABG, arterial blood gas, that time we fresh the needle. After that, take the blood into the artery. Okay, this is the reason because the blood is whenever we take blood through the artery, the time suddenly the arterial blood is clot. That's why we include this time heparin. Okay, flush with heparin. Heparin 150 unit to prevent clotting of 100 ml blood. Okay, 150 unit to prevent clotting of 100 ml blood. Next is calcium complexing agent, sodium citrate. 1.65 gram for 350 ml of blood, used to keep blood in the fluid state for transfusion. Whenever we transfuse any blood, that time 1.65 gram we should put and put with 350 ml blood. Okay, next is sodium oxalate. The time 10 mg for 1 ml blood, used in the blood taken for the investigation. Sodium erythritol, that 2 mg for 1 ml blood, used in blood taken for investigations. Okay, next one is blood clotting factor and drugs that are affect them. Okay, you all know that 10 blood clotting factor that influence the is helpful for the blood clotting. Okay, first component or factor. First one, common synonym and target for these actions. First is fibrosin, that is clotting factor first. Second is prothrombin. Third is tissue thromboplastin. Fourth is calcium. Fifth is procelerin. 6 proconvitant. Next 7 antihemophilic factors AHF. 5, 6, 7 antihemophilic factors, and 8 is Christmas factors या फिर plasma thromboplastin component PTC, and last one is factor 9 and factor 10 is Stroop power factors, and 11 is plasma thromboplastin, anticidin PTCA, and 12 factor is Hageman factors, and last 11 factor is 10, 11, 12, 11, 13 is fibrin stabilizer factors. Okay, and all are the factors, and protein C and S plus factors, and all are the helpful for clotting. Next we will see anticoagulants. The anticoagulants drugs inhibit either the action of the coagulation factor heparin or interfere with the synthesis of anticoagulants factor varfarin. Heparin or unaffected heparin UFH. Okay, unfractionated heparin is a heterogeneous mixture of sulfated and leucoplus. See, right with the MW. Okay, 10,000 to 20,000 gram per mole. It is biological activity dependent upon the endogenous anticoagulant and antithrombin. The certain chain low molecular weight fraction of heparin, exocrine, dalterpin, and tenterpin. This inhibitor activate the factor X but have less effect on thrombin than the high molecular weight HMW species. Okay, then monitor of heparin effect. Closely monitor of the activated partial thrombosine time. ETT is the necessary of patient receiving UFH. 0.2 to 0.4 unit per ml and anti-10A units is therapeutic level 0.3 to 0.7 unit per ml. Next, toxicity. We see the toxicity: bleeding, loss of hair, visible alopecia, loss of hair, and heparin, including the thrombocytopenia. Next is contraindications. What are the contraindications when we take the heparin? Heparin should be avoided in patients who have recently had surgery of the brain because it is blood thinner also, because it is blood thinner. Spinal cord or eye and other patients who have undergone lumbar puncture and reason of anesthesia block. Reversal of heparin actions. Protamine antagonists the heparin. Intravenous injections of the protamine neutralize the heparin. Weight. For example, 1 mg is needed for every 100 unit for heparin. Use of anticoagulants. In aim to using anticoagulants, it is prevent the thrombus extension and embolic complications by the reducing the rate of fibrin formations. First one is deep vein thrombosis and pulmonary embolism. Myocardial infections, unstable angina, rheumatic heart disease, atrial fibrillation, cerebrovascular disease, vascular surgery, prostatic heartburn, renal vessels, thrombosis and extracorporeal circulations, hemodialysis. Next one is defibrillation syndrome. These all use of the, and whenever we have all this type of complication, that time we use anticoagulants. Next is direct factor 10A inhibitors. Rivoxamine. It is an orally active drugs inhibitors of the activated factor 10A, which has become available for prophylaxis and treatment of deep vein thrombosis (DVT). Whenever deep vein thrombosis, what is deep vein thrombosis? Do you have any idea? Any symptoms for deep vein thrombosis? Mostly one symptom, this is leg pain and blueness of veins in the lower leg. Okay. Next is oral direct thrombin inhibitors. Dabigatran etiquette. Okay, textate. It is a product which, after administration of rapidly hydroxylated to the direct thrombin inhibitor, that is dabigatran, reversibly blocks the cyclic stage of thrombin and produce rapid anticoagulant actions. Next is thrombolytics. That's thrombolytic. These are used to lysis thrombin and clot to recentralize occluded blood vessels, mainly coronary artery. Whenever coronary artery is recent, the time urokinase alter phase and retroflase get all the helpful for these, namely coronary artery disease. Streptokinase. It is a protein synthesis to streptococci that combine with the proactivated plasminogen. Okay. Next is urokinase. Urokinase is a human enzyme synthesized by the kidney that directly convert the plasminogen in an active plasmin. The platelet aggregation inhibitors first aspirin. Platelet aggregation inhibitor directly decrease the formation of platelets, which clot or decrease the action of chemicals signals that promote the platelet aggregations. The platelet aggregation inhibitor described below inhibitor that are ADP receptors. They are interfere with the signal of the promote of platelet aggregation. Aspirin is used to the prophylactic treatment of the transient cerebral ischemia. Whenever cerebral ischemia will be there, that I am used for aspirin, helpful. Okay, this is also used for clopidogrel. Okay, next ticagrelor and paragrelor and ticagrelor. These all are the uses for platelet aggregation inhibitors. Okay, yesterday we saw this all this. Today topic is step of hemostasis. So step of hemostasis, we will see this vascular spasm. A is vascular spasm. This is endothelial cell, endothelial layer, and after that endothelial cell, there all are, this is platelets and vessels injury. Vessels injury layer. Here we will see the platelet plaques formation. How to form a plaque formation will be there. Collagen fibers. This is collagen fiber. This is platelet plaque. Okay. Next is C, blood clotting. This is fibrin. Okay. Next is coagulations. Complex process of enzymatic reaction in which clotting factor activates other clotting factor in a fixed square until a clot of forming. Next, disorder of coagulations can lead to an increased risk of bleeding or clot thrombosis. Okay, next stage third of coagulations. Last stage is coagulations. Intrinsic and extrinsic coagulations and thrombin formation, and last one fibrin formation. This you will see. This is activated platelets. This is clot, and this is fibrin. Okay, you see in this picture. This is blood flow. This is blood vessel. This is wound. Okay, this is wound. This is blood flow. Okay, there resting platelet will become. Okay, this is activated platelet, and the prothrombin go through the thrombin, and fibrosin is fibrosin clot. You will see all those through the diagrammatically. After that, the endometrial layer, blood flow. After that, platelet, basement membrane. This is basement membrane. Here, there is platelet, and this is platelet plaque. plaque formation, and ATP is come and out through the plaque and thromboxane and the prostaglandin. This is inhibitor platelet aggregations healthy disease. Okay. Next is this is the process of how to active and how to affect the plasma. Okay. This all are the clotting factors. This is coagulants. Only this is coagulants. Coagulant substance which promote the coagulation indirect in the hemorrhage stage, like hemophilia, von Willebrand disease. Okay, feces, whole blood or plasma. Best therapy for deficiency or any clotting factor, but carries the risk of HIV, hepatitis transmissions. They act immediately. Hemophilia. Anti-hemophilic factors 8 and 9 factor. Fibrosis. First, hemophilia, acute ephrinogenemia, IV infusion we should provide to the patient. And desmopressin, analogues of vasopressin used in von Willebrand disease stimulate release of VWF from endothelial cells 3 to 5-fold to increase the IVS subcutaneous inflammation. Okay, we should give subcutaneously and intravenous and intranasal. No risk of HIV and hepatitis. Vitamin K. Vitamin K, it is fat-soluble vitamin required for synthesis of clotting factor 2, 7, 9 and 10. Directly source is cabbage, sprints, liver, cheese. Okay, forms phytominidin K, one-leaf vegetable nature. Menacunus K2 and menadione K3, water-soluble synthesized. Okay, next deficiency. Liver disease like obstructive jaundice and deficiency of malabsorption, long-term antimicrobial therapy which altered the intestinal flora, and deficiency diet is not most common. Lowering of the liver of prothrombin and other clotting factor, and therapeutic use 5 to 10 mg day orally perineally. Okay, currently newborn vitamin K, Fiotona IM routine mg. Okay, a deficiency due to chronic use of antibiotics. Antidotes to oral anticoagulants and osteoporosis adjustment. Okay, next one is other coagulants. What are the other coagulants to helpful for these? First is adenochromes and semicarbazole. These are decrease the capillary permeability and control the microvascular bleedings. First is antifibrinolytics. Okay, decrease the fibrolytic activities, fibrinolysis, dissolve of the blood clot. For example, antifibrinolytic aminocapronic acids. Okay, aminocapronic acids is this all. Tranexamic acid is better tolerated 7 to 10 times more potent than EACA. Okay. Next is aprotein and rutinine, platin and glycosides used along with the vitamin C and ethermesylate anti-hydrolyzed activities. Next is therapeutic use. Okay, therapeutic use is overdose of fibrinolytic and traumatic or surgical bleeding, prostatectomy and tonsillectomy. Okay, these all are the tooth extractions, ablutions. Okay, next is placement, PPH, hemorrhage, PPH, postpartum hemorrhage, also amenorrhea will be there, and nephral espers and prexmatic acid combo. The frequent episodic adjust this therapy on hemophilia. Adverse reactions: vomiting, diarrhea, abdominal discomfort, dysphagia, hypotension, congestive arrhythmia, and nasal stiffness. Okay, these all are the adverse reactions. Next one is local hemostatic staphylococcus. Okay, these all are the local hemostatics. First one is control bleeding from oral and appreciable sites. First, local applications, tooth extractions and ablations, nasal bleeding. For example, thrombin and fibrin saline, fibrozin and aprothylene, and biodegradable power pH. Next one is gentlein form, oxidized cellulose strips, 0.1% epinephrine stocks in sterile clotting gauze, and next one is 1% tannin acid astringent with iced natural. Next is secularizing agent, irritant which cause of inflammation and anticoagulants and fibrosis. Use of various vein hemorrhages, local injections only. An example of phenol, 5% hypertonic saline. Hypertonic saline, sodium tetracycline sulfate, we should give. Anticoagulants drug which helpful to prevent the clotting of blood, prevent formation of new clot and existing clot of inlearning. Whenever the post-cycline PZ-I12 platelet aggregations, that time and antithrombin and inactivated factor 2. Next is parental anticoagulants with indirectly thrombin and inhibitors. Heparin low molecular weight, heparin, findaprovix, and danaploid. These all drugs are heparin sulfate, tetran sulfate. Detect thrombin inhibitors, iodine, lupidin, NCOD. These all the indirect thrombin. Oral anticoagulants, coumarin derivatives, this hydroxycoumarin and dicumarol, warfarin sodiums. In then given derivatives is phenidinone. Next one is use of vitro and heparin 150 unit to prevent the clotting of 100 ml blood. Calcium complexing agent, sodium citrate and sodium oxalate, heparin both in vivo and vitro. This heparin is heparin. Learned and medical student discovered that liver contain powerful anticoagulant helpful to halt. Name its heparin obtained from the liver. Maximum the mucopolysaccharides which MW 10,000 to 20,000. It contain the D-glucosamine and L-isolonic acids and D-glucosamine, D-gluconic acid. It carries strong electronegativity charges. Okay, and it is strongest organic acid present in the body. Found in secretory glands and mast cell rich sources and lungs, liver and intestine mucosa. Commonly produced from oxygen lungs and thick intestine mucosa. Heparin produces its anticoagulant effect by activating plasma antithrombin, third and inhibitor factor 2A and tannin. Other action of heparin is antiplatelets. High dose heparin inhibit the platelet aggregations. Okay, prolonged bleeding time, thrombocytopenia, lymphemia, clearing. Injections the heparin clear from it. Postprandial lymphemia by releasing a lipoprotein lipase from the vessel wall. Agonist. Protamine sulfate. It is a strongly based on low molecular weight protein obtained from the sperm and satin fish. Weight base. IV 1 mg it needed from every 100 unit of heparin. Okay, in the absence of heparin, protamine itself acts a weak anticoagulant. Pharmacokinetics. The large and highly ionized molecules therefore not absorbed orally. IV. Okay. It is subcutaneously withdrawn and injections after 60 minutes. Does not cross blood-brain barrier or placenta. Save the pregnancy. It helps to metabolize the liver and heparin fragment and excretin through the urine. And low molecular weight heparin, that is commercially prepared by the fractionation of molecular weight 4,000 to 600 650. Okay, next is advantage over conventional heparin. Uniform advantage over the conventional heparin. This is uniformly absorptions that are whenever we use this low molecular weight heparin, the time it is longer duration of action and less antigenic. Okay, less interactions with platelet, less risk of thrombocytopenia. For example, the enoxaparin and dalteparin and tenzaparin, panaparin and ribavirin. These all are the example of low molecular heparin. Okay, the molecular weight is 4,000 to 6,500. Okay, next is dalteparin. This is prophylaxis 2,500 USC 1 hour before the surgery, then 2,500 unit every day for 5 to 7 days. Therapeutics 100 unit per kg twice in a day for 5 days. BD, that means twice in a day for 5 days. Thrombin inhibitors inactivates free as well as fibrin. Bond thrombin does not require antithrombin. Third, like heparin, no antidotes. Parental thrombin inhibitors used in leach, lipidin and recombinant DNA. Orally use dabigatran, okay, then epigraphin and rivaroxaban. Next is oral anticoagulants. That we should use oral anticoagulants, that are oral anticoagulants given by the orally route, that tetracyclic smooth drugs interactions. For example, warfarin sodiums is hydroxycomarin, dexamorolol, acinocomerolol and nicomelon and phenydione. These all are the drugs. And next one is warfarin. Warfarin synthesis derivative of coumarin. Its mechanism of action is inhibitor the vitamin K dependent synthesis of active form of the clotting factor. Second 7 6 or 10. Okay. Next, monitoring the PT time to take the clot to form a require highly protein bond. DDI increase the effect, and enzyme inhibitor busulfam and allopurinol cimetidine. These all are the enzyme inhibitors. Displays from protein bleeding sites, phenytoin, provensin. These all are the displays from the protein bleeding sites. Liquid paraffin increase the excretion of vitamin K. Long-term antibiotics decrease the vitamin K synthesis and with the aspirin decrease the effect. Enzyme induced hereditary resistance, cholesterol and sucralfate decrease the absorption of these, decrease the effect and decrease the effect of these drugs. Adverse effect of anticoagulants. First, bleeding, alopecia, loss of hair, hypersensitivity, dermatitis, urticaria and thrombocytopenias. These all are the adverse effect of these drugs. And tetrogenicity, warfarin, fetal varicose syndrome, hypoplasia of nasal beads, heart defect, growth retardations, large laryngomalacia. Okay. Warfarin poisoning increase the bleeding. Number 2, 7, 9, 10 synthesized. Treatment. We should give this treatment? Give the fresh blood transfusion at the immediately clotting factor and loss of blood. Give vitamin K sufficient antidotes, but it doesn't act immediately. It takes 6 to 24 hours for clotting factor to be resynthesized and released in the blood. Okay. Therapeutic use of anticoagulants. Heparin and warfarin both are started initially. Later the heparin or discontinue after 5 days, and warfarin continue. The warfarin actions start only after 3 to 4 days. Use prophylaxis of deep vein thrombosis and pulmonary embolism in bedridden patients and those undergoing knee hip replacement surgery. Myocardial infarctions, unstable angina, rheumatic heart diseases, arterial fibrillation during the bypass surgery, also vascular surgery, prostatic heart valve, lesion in vessels, thrombosis, hemodialysis. Okay. DIC. Okay. Complete the coagulant and anticoagulants. Okay. If you have any doubt, you ask me. Okay, students.